Hello and welcome to the Sun Racing preview of the Charlie Hall Chase in association with Betway. I'm Tom Bull and I'm joined by Callum Jamieson of Sun Racing.
Hello.
And Chad Yeomans of Betway to discuss both the Charlie Hall and the Breeders' Cup, as well as looking back on a wonderful weekend at Cheltenham. First up, we're going to start with the Charlie Hall, the big Grade 2 at Wetherby. It's certainly a fantastic race on entries this year, with La Bagarrois heading the market around the 11-4 mark. Fantastic mare, won all sorts of races last season and looks a real one to follow this year. Should we take on the likes of Elegant Escape, Colin Tizard's Proper Stay, who won the Welsh National last year, likes of Black Courton, Definitely Red, ASO, Topville Ben, and a few others. Come to you first, Callum, Charlie Hall Chase. Are you a big fan of the favourite?
I think if I had to narrow it down to just one horse, I think La Bagarrois would be my pick. She's just relentless once she gets going out in front, and she can ping fences like not many others in training. Richard Johnson gets on really well with them. They're a perfect match, aren't they? Dickie's brilliant on those horses from the front.
She's a stride every time.
Yeah, and I mean, Wetherby, if you can get them going in behind quite early on, those fences up the back straight and up the home straight, they come thick and fast.
They do,
and if you can get into a real rhythm there, you can really get some horses on the back foot.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's obviously some really good horses in this to go with her. We'll probably go through them, I imagine, but you're quite keen on her too, Chad?
I am, yeah. I think this is her Gold Cup. I think this is the race she's been targeted for. I think the King George will be a little bit too far out of her depth in terms of Altior's going to turn up, and we don't know if Clanders will go. I think it's going to be the next grade up, and I don't think she likes Cheltenham, which is why she never goes. And potentially the Betway Bowl might be the next target for her end of season.
Looks a very good opportunity for her, isn't it?
Completely. But with conditions to suit, she's got the weight allowance. The only time she was beaten last year was at Aintree, and I'd say she was over the top by then. But she had ran at the Dublin Festival. She'd ran in the old Feltham.
Oh, she went everywhere, didn't she?
Yeah, she ran all over the place. But she beat Talk Is Cheap, who then ended up winning the old Whitbread by 7 lengths. Beat Lost in Translation, who came out and won at Aintree by X amount of lengths, being top of the game. Yeah. She beat top of the game at Kempton on Boxing Day. Everything she came up against, she just seemed to beat fair and square.
Well, the thing is, once you get upsides her, if she's in with a chance at the final fence, I mean, she's going to battle back. It's very difficult to beat her.
She wasn't her best in Ireland, was she? But no. she just kept finding
And she did the same thing at Kempton, top of the game, obviously went on to win the RSA at the Cheltenham Festival. Yeah. A very, very smart horse, and she went upsides him, and then that was it. Well, he went upsides her, and she found more. So, you know, she's obviously as game as they come. I don't think she'll be wanting for fitness, because Warren Greycheck said earlier in the week that she's absolutely where he wants her to be. So it will take a very good performance to beat her. I know you are keen on Elegant Escape as a horse.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I think he's a very good horse. He actually reminds me of a few Gold Cup winners, Synchronised, Lord Windermere, who probably aren't the classiest of horses, but they stay all day. They absolutely stay.
Well, as you showed with the Welsh National win.
A bit like Native River, I guess. He's
completely,
in the same.
Completely. He's a 7-year-old, and I think that he's at the right time of his career, that he'll keep progressing.
Looking further down the list, anything else to take your eye, Callum?
I mean, it's quite hard to discount Definitely Red, but I think the value's gone there a bit. I think the Brian Erson Yard are obviously in terrific form, but I think everyone's cotton on to that now, and after Forest Behan won on Sunday at Aintree, I think that's now very obvious. Everyone's got onto that, and the price reflects that now. The one I like at slightly bigger price is ASO. I think it could be a bit of each way value there, so long as we get 8 come Saturday. I mean, he's top rated in this by £4 or £5.
Amazing, and that really isn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it on paper at all with some of the names in here. I'd probably have him second or third favourite in this, to be honest. I think he's just got that form in the book. I know he doesn't win as often as you'd like, but that Ryanair run behind Frodon, I think you could have that maybe up in the 170s as well, and that was a huge run. The trip is the question though. His best form's always over 2.5. 3 here if it's proper soft ground, who knows? But it might bring out further improvement. He's only tried it once, I think, last season. Didn't quite get home there, but he's still quite young and knows. So I think I'd be willing to give him. This thing is slightly overpriced.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, considering his rating. And as you said last week, off-air, Venetia got a winner last week. She seems to be in decent form, doesn't she? What about you, Chad? Anything else?
I like Definitely Red, a previous winner. But as a 10-year-old, there's only been 6 horses aged 10 or over have won since 1981, and those include Seymour Business and Wayward Lad, who are, I'd say, were a different class of horse, aren't they? It takes a lot to win this first time up as a 10-year-old. It's a big race.
I mean, it is his Gold Cup, isn't it, though? I mean, it's completely prime for this completely.
Brian Ellison's horses are absolutely flying at the moment. And you'd expect
20 to 1 winners, 25 to 1 winners.
You'd expect him for this one to run really well. The only thing I would say that last year's win, the race wasn't that strong, and Black Courton made a horrible mistake halfway down the back, which ruined his chance. One that I'd like to give a mention to, who's got a fair bit to find in the ratings, but absolutely loves Wetherby, is Topville Ben for Philip Kirby. This horse loves to ping out, go out in front. If he gets an easy lead, I can see him being very difficult to catch because he jumps really well.
I'd be
he
surprised
stays
if
well.
he got an easy lead with
I would as well.
the bag out there.
I would.
Yeah.
But
I think he'll get the lead at this level.
I hope he does because I think that's the only chance he's got of winning.
I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he gets as well. I think just as another one, Kim Bailey's Vindication, first step up to 3 miles. They always thought he was a 3 mile. They always thought he's going to be a big staying chaser. He might just surprise a few, and I think he'll finish further up the field or closer to winning than horses like Ballyoptic, who to me simply not good enough.
Oh, I'm shocked at Ballyoptic's price.
Yeah, so
he got his complete own way at Chepstow last time. I
And
can't
that
see
was
how
his
he's
advice.
doing.
But the thing on
Nike
his
hasn't
side, at
afforded
least, is he's the only one in the race with a bit of race fitness. I'm going to put up Topville Ben, I think, each way. I think hopefully there'll be 8 runners, as you say, on the day.
Yeah.
And if he gets an easy lead, he will be hard to pass because both his starts at Wetherby resulted in very wide margin wins. Obviously against horses not of this calibre, but, you know, he's still unproven at this level to an extent, and I think if he does ping those fences, he's such a good jumper, quite clearly loves it at Wetherby, and I would love to see him on a big race. Philip Kirby. Callum, what about you? Who are you going to stick with?
I think Mabagawa is definitely the most likely winner, but if ASO turns up and we get 8 runners, I think he's a bit of each way value too.
Great. And Chad?
I think Lebagawa will win. I think this is our Gold Cup. I do think Vindication will run on into a place.
Excellent. Well, hopefully we've found you some winners there. Now we're going to take a quick look back at the Chapman Showcase meeting, 2 days, Friday and Saturday last week. Terrible rain on Saturday, freezing cold conditions. It was actually a bit horrible to be there, but the racing was good, and it was great to see the best race course in the country back in action, I would say. I was very impressed with a horse called Slate House for Colin Tizard. Colin's always loved this horse. I remember he said once he was on his Billionaire's Row with
He does say that about a lot of his
He
horses,
does, he does. But I think at the time he was on the same level, well, he thought he was on the same level potentially as Thistlecrack and Native River and that kind of horse. I think he was so impressive in this novice chase on Saturday. He sluiced through the ground. It was dreadful conditions, so you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. Yeah. But he still absolutely clobbered them. He came to the second last on the bit. Everyone else was working incredibly hard, and he drew clear.
I think they did quite well to win, not double the distance that they did. But
exactly,
like,
yeah. I mean, he almost was on the bridle the whole way around. And to do that in that kind of race, it was a Class 2 novice chase. I mean, he's probably going to go up to around the 150 mark for that, I would say. I reckon he'll be raised a lot in the handicap for that, which would put him just below the kind of JLT standard.
Well, he's a bet victor. They've said
exactly,
he might go for now.
So we'll go next.
Yeah, and I think he will be very competitive in the races to come this season if he continues on this kind of upturn that Colin Tizard seems to have found now that he's had a wind operation. So hopefully, he'll
got to hope he can back it up, haven't you? Because that profile's not the most convincing.
You say that again for sure. What about you, Callum? What did you like?
I think Saturday it's quite hard to take much out of. Like you said, the ground was a bit of a joke, to be honest, towards the afternoon puddles and whatnot. But on the Friday, I thought in the first Champagne Well for the Fergal O'Brien team, really quite taken by this horse. He was backed off the boards, like defeat was out of the question before the race. He was actually supposed to run at Chepstow in the Persian War back a couple of weeks ago, and he was backed heavily there. So someone clearly likes him somewhere down at Fergal's. He was taken out of that last minute. He got colic on the day. I'm not a vet, but I'm sure that took a few days of work out of him at the very least. But I think he's going to need 3 miles sooner rather than later. This over 2-4. They went a bit of a crawl early. Paddy took it up early, good aggressive ride. He stayed up that hill really powerfully.
Yeah, strong stay.
I know, and the wind that day was blowing right into the horses' faces. And I just think he's a novice for the whole of this year because he didn't actually win last year. He's 6 going 7. He's going to have the experience edge on quite a lot of these horses. Come springtime, I think quite a bit will improve past him. But something like the Challow, I think might be perfect for him come the end of the year.
Fergal won it with
the Betway Cello.
Oh, sorry, the Betway Cello, even better.
Yeah, Fergal won that race with Poetic Rhythm, didn't he?
Yeah,
a couple of years ago. Lovely stuff. Well, Fergal, as you know, has got these new gallops. Seems to have really made the difference
he had
to
a
him.
hell of a weekend,
didn't he? Unbelievable. Chaddy, I know you like one of his horses to go forward as well.
I do, yeah. Butter Montana, who ran in the bumper, is backed.
Yeah.
So really well backed.
I think it's the 3rd year in a row he's won that race now.
Yeah. So. I'd actually heard about this horse earlier in the year as being really useful.
Okay.
But just had a bit of a cough towards the spring, and then the ground changed.
So there was a strong word for him before the race.
Didn't get a chance to run him, yeah.
Were you there?
He was. He's a big, raw, stocky horse. Travelled throughout the race really well, and just got beaten by a faster horse coming up the hill in time flies by. It's probably a little bit flashier, but Butter Montana won't be long in winning. I promise you that.
No.
And the horse who finished 3rd, Lady in Hiding, when she goes into mares only bumpers, she'll take some stopping. Okay. I don't know whether she'll go back at the November meeting, or whether
is that for Oliver Sherwood?
It is, yeah. Or whether she finds something.
She stayed on really well, didn't she, from the back?
Yeah, she flew, and against her own sex, she'll be very tough to beat.
Just going back then to Cheltenham, I'm going to go with Slate House to one to follow. Callum?
Champagne Well.
Champagne well, and you've got three.
The three, Butter Montana and Lady and Hyden in bumpers, and Tedham wherever he goes next.
Great stuff. On to the Breeders' Cup now, stateside, where our man Jack Keane is at Santa Anita, and he's picked up this lovely little snippet for us.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Breeders' Cup at the gorgeous Santa Anita. Just look at that backdrop, it's absolutely stunning, isn't it? It's going to be a fantastic few days here in California. It all kicks off on Friday on Future Champions Day. We've got several European runners in the juvenile races, including Ali for Simon Christopher and Dyer for Roger Varian. I actually spoke to Roger Varian just after his filly galloped on the track this morning. He's very confident of a big run. She's got a good draw in the juvenile fillies turf, so she's expected to go very well for the home for the European Raiders. And on the main action on Saturday, we've got a fantastic racing for you, as you'd expect. Midnight Bisou and Omaha Beach are considered two of the home bankers in the Distaff and the Dirt Mile. But my main bet of the day on Saturday is Old Persian for Charlie Appleby in the Breeders' Cup turf over 1.5 miles. He's 4 from 4 on left-handed flat tracks. He won a Grade 1 in Canada last time in easy fashion, and this test looks absolutely ideal for him. And Charlie Appleby's got a fantastic record at the Breeders' Cup. So best of luck with your bets this week, and back to you guys in the studio.
So Chad, come to you first. Got any thoughts on, I mean, there's obviously a lot of races at this meeting, but have you picked out a couple you'd like?
Yeah, I actually quite like Anthony Van Dyke, the Investec Derby winner in the Breeders' Cup turf. All of the conditions are in his favour. Drawn well, fast ground, 1 mile 4. I think he's very good. I'm not overly familiar with the American form, so I don't know quite how good Bricks and Mortar is. Apparently, he keeps beating the same things over there. And I'll happily,
I mean, he beat Magic Wand last time, which is decent form.
Magic Wand.
Yeah.
Is that the
Aidan
Brian
O'Brien
horse?
Yeah.
I'd say Aidan would know. His
you're
line
right,
and
I think it's between those two, that race, definitely.
I would agree.
The other horse, the Godolphin horse, Old Persian, I just see was a little bit below.
Okay.
Probably wants a little bit further, and I agree with you.
You know, with Aidan's horses, they're going to be tip-top as well when they get out there.
course
I'm sure it's been the aim for Anthony Van Dyke for a good while, so
absolutely.
yeah.
He's obviously a classy horse in his day, having won a Derby.
There you go.
On the Friday, it's probably more known as 2-year-old day over here, a lot of the juvenile races. One horse that's been forgotten, Alligator Alley, Joseph O'Brien's. He looks a massive prize here in the juvenile turf sprint.
Yeah.
He was behind ARLE when backed into about even money at Doncaster. Obviously didn't run his race there whatsoever, but he's drawn nicely in 6 here and he gets blinkers on for the first time. He looks a massive prize when you compare him to what ARLE is at Alley. Then in the juvenile turf, I think Our Country's had 2 horror trips on the bounce, but he looks an absolute massive prize here at 25 to 1. And then Fair Maiden in the fillies turf. It's a race probably the Europeans have got a massive hand on with Jessica Harrington's horse. Aidan's got a couple in it.
I've got a fancy in actually.
Okay, well, I'm probably going against you. I think big price around 16 to 1 Fair Maiden. I think this filly will improve with the blinkers on.
Lovely stuff. Well, I'm going to take you on with Living in the Past. British representative has got the inside draw. She likes to lead, and if she can skate out from the inside peg, I think she'll be hard to catch.
In the turf sprint.
Yep.
He's a proper American sprinter. This. He's going on 7, but he goes brilliantly fresh. I mean, he's been off for about half a year now, but he's obviously had this lined up a good way out. He's drawn horribly, but if he can overcome, I think he's an 11. If he can overcome that, 25 to 1 looks big again. In the Breeders' Cup Mile, little horse called Without Parole. We all might remember.
Yeah, we do indeed.
I'll take a flyer on this ex-John Gosden horse. I mean, he clearly lost his way in Britain towards the end of his career there, but he's at Chad Brown now, who's a master of getting hold of horses that probably tend to bleed every now and then. And obviously, with the help of Lassex, you hope he comes over that. And then my best bet is Vina Rosso in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Probably goes down as my nap for the weekend for Todd Pletcher. Loves 1.25 miles, and all his numbers over those 10 furlongs have been way and above what's in this race, I think. He's won at the track before, and I think fantastic trainer. Irad Ortiz, obviously a brilliant jockey as well. Looks the best bet on the card for me.
I'm going to stick up Fleeting.
Oh,
Again. I think I've put her up in every single preview I've done this year. But she
should have won at Ascot.
She should have won at Ascot. It was the most frustrating watch. She came there swinging, and Donica just found so much. It wasn't really his fault. The horses came inside, they came outside. He tried to get a gap, but just couldn't. She is a top-class filly. I'm absolutely sure of that. And I think this is the moment that she can finally land that top level of success. I hope she can anyway, because I think she does deserve it. Apart from that, I'm pretty much done as well. I think Bricks and Mortar will be very difficult to beat. I know Antigone like you like.
Between those two, it's good race.
I think Bricks and Mortar, you know, is a home advantage can be so important at these meetings. You're going to go with Vina Rosso.
Yeah. I think about the 4 or 5 to 1 mark, the 2 above him in the market, I'd be taking them on, I think.
Excellent. What about you, Chad?
And if I can just add, the Betway ambassador Andrew Balding has one runner, his first runner in the Breeders' Cup Festival, which is Shadden in the Phillies Turf on Friday. She travelled over earlier this week, and I'd like to see her win.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see her.
I'd like to see her win.
Is Andrew out there sunning himself?
I'm unsure. I don't believe he is. I think he's going out tomorrow.
Not going to be at Newcastle for a Kameka one
No,
Friday.
I think he's going over to America.
Fair enough.
I would
Just
too.
give a quick mention to one of the absentees, unfortunately, this year, Magical, who has just been retired by Aidan O'Brien after contracting a temperature. She was going to run in the filly and mare turf, but it's obviously a big shame she's not going to. But she's had an absolutely wonderful career.
It's a bit of a shame she's not running, isn't it?
It is a bit of a shame.
She's sort of obviously been known as a Nables bridesmaid a lot of the time. It would have been good for her to go out. And I mean, Champions Day was nice, but Breeders' Cup would have at least got a bit more credit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only thing you can say is it's good that she did manage to finish on a high, winning the Champions Stakes, and she was a classic game self doing that, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Thanks very much, guys, for this week.
Thank you.
Hopefully provided you with some winners, and it promises to be a really electric weekend's racing featuring both the Breeders' Cup and the Charlie Hall Chase at Wetherby. Best of luck to you all.